All right, people. A little bit about these live edge epoxy tables. It's actually a lot more to them than you think there is. And maybe not on just a one color pour. Well, this ain't just a one color pour. On this one, I did the backside first. So it was flipped over. These boards were not together, nothing. I just glazed them. Pretty thick glaze over the bottom. Flipped them over. Now, it's kind of just like doing concrete. You want to frame it in. What I did, just get your board, put it on there. What I did, I just screwed mine in. Screwed mine in right to the other board, the Mally main board. Worked good. Nothing moved. But before you do that, you want to make sure to really coat the board with your silicone spray. WD-40 makes it. Works good. Be sure to coat it. If you don't coat it, that epoxy will stick to that board and you will have chunks of board stuck to it. Don't do it. You're going to regret it. You're still going to have little bits of board and stuff here and there, but that's going to be easy to sand off, polish, whatever. So on this second pour, it's framed in. Did the top glaze and let it run in. Filled the middle. What, eighth of an inch, probably more on the bottom. And then next is your colors. You can use whatever kind of colors you want. I use the brown with the brown glittery stuff, and it turned out pretty cool. I think the blue, a little bright on the blue on this one. This is my first table. Didn't turn out too bad though. I'd go a little bit lighter on the blue to really resemble the water next time. Like I said, it's my first pour. But hey, not a bad table. So after you get colors in, you can play with them, you can paint, you can do whatever on your bottom. You don't necessarily have to use the epoxy with the colors to get what you want. You can paint whatever you want on the bottom, because your next layer is going to go right over the top. It's going to cover it. It's going to give it a good shine. You can add these figurines in here like this, but it's a lot more time consuming than just doing one color. You got your base layer, then you got your colors, and then you want to make sure that you can actually stick your figurines into the epoxy on the base layer. So you got to really maintain and watch that your figurines can kind of push down in there and kind of stick in there. So it's really about babysitting and really watching it. Well, when you're pouring this epoxy, you're going to get bubbles. You're going to get bubbles. It's pretty easy. You just take your torch, a little handheld torch, go over a little bit. You don't want to get too hot because you can destroy it. It's not going to be a worst case scenario. You can sand divots, you can do that stuff, but it's going to be time consuming. You're going to regret it. I regretted a couple things on this table. I went to go pour what I thought was my mixed epoxy into a couple little divots. Yeah, it wasn't the mixed epoxy. It was the non-mixed epoxy. So everything was pretty much dry. I touched those other little divots that I'd poured that other epoxy in. Yeah, it was the non-mixed. So it never dried. So now I then had divots Well, there was one right here. There's some over here. Some over here. What I did, my divots were pretty deep at first, so I actually started with the P320 sandpaper. It's gonna take a lot off and fast, and it's gonna scratch the hell out of it. Or you can start with your P180. It's gonna take even more off. But in the end, take your 600 grit sandpaper, and that's gonna get it pretty smooth. You're gonna have a foggy look to it, and then you get an 8,000 grit polishing pad. Go get some of your, that's what I use, Meguiar's Mirror Glaze, professional machine glaze light cut. Put little bits on it. I mean, you know, I'll show you. Just on this border right here. I mean, that still might be too much. I mean, you just start with little bits and kind of play with it a little bit. It's your buffing pad, start buffing. And you're still, even if you see slight scratches and stuff on it, it's not a big ordeal. You will see when you pour water on it that you can't really see those scratches anymore. This is my first table, so I just kind of experimented, a little bit worried. But I kind of figured if you can't see the scratches with water, then you shouldn't be able to see them with your next pour of epoxy. I was right. Oh, can't see no scratches anymore, can you? Sure can't. Now, around the edges, I may have messed up just a little bit, but I was going to sand these edges off anyways. I may have put a little too much silicone on the sides, and it's kind of in the epoxy, but I'm going to round these edges anyways and do one more base layer to that anyways, or top layer, I mean. Also, for non-stick, you can get a mold release. You can spray this all over your boards, whatever, just so the epoxy doesn't stick. I'm not going to say there ain't going to be no hammer time after this. I had to beat the crap out of these boards to get them off. But they came off, and not too much stuck to them. I'm telling you, if you don't put that stuff on, that whole board will, half of it will probably stay on there. And you're going to have a lot of sanding and a lot of removing. Time is money. Money is time. Look over here. Got my base. Turned out pretty good. The old diamond. It's gonna look pretty good on that table. Now to get these colors in here. They gave me a brown. And they gave me a brown. Has sparkles, more powdery. It's not paint, it's more powdery, but it has more sparklies in it. It kind of gives it a real good fine look. And then I tried to resemble sand with the gold. It might be a little much on this one. Learning experience. Blue, like I said, might be a little much on the blue. That's gonna be your blue dye. You guys can just play around with this stuff. Like how I got these sparkles in here. I mean, I just got these from the old Hobby Lobby. Threw them over the top, put the glaze over. Give a nice sparkle finish. Yep. But, okay. Let me step back a notch. I forgot something. When you're sanding, keep your spray bottle with water. You want to wet sand these. Because when you dry sand it, it's going to scratch it up really good. And it's going to coat your pads. You're going to go through 200 pads. Just keep it wet, keep it moist. It's going to go a lot better for you. Other than that, I'm going to do a whole video of my next table. I'm going to do the one color pour in the middle. I already have a couple orders. People that are wanting bar tops and stuff. And they're just wanting a deep blue in the middle. It's going to be fun. Next one's going to be way easier than if you want some figurines in there or something. If you want figurines and stuff, it's a process. A little more process than you really think it is. Another thing you can do. I might not, but you can drill holes up in the bottom. Don't go too deep, just enough for, like, say, Christmas lights or some kind of lights that go up in the bottom. So if you want this lit up at nighttime, it'd be pretty cool. And you can do all sorts of possibilities with these tables. Tons of things with these tables. It's experiment. This is my first table, like I said. Turned out pretty good. I mean, look at those edges. Pretty good. My shop, it gets pretty cold at night, so that's why I got the heater on it. You always want to keep these things 70 to 85 degrees. I learned that from the do-it-yourself epoxy people. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate you. Gave him a call quite a few times over the process of this table. Just ask him. Super good guys. They'll take good care of you. Listen to them. Because I listened to them on everything they had told me to get. And this table, I mean, it's turning out pretty damn good, I must say. Thank you guys. Keep watching my videos, and you're gonna watch a guy that started from nothing, not knowing how to do these, to, I mean, I know I can do mighty fine work on one pour, one color, and these are gonna turn out awesome. These live edge tables, there's something to be talked about. They are cool. Stay tuned, people, because if you want to learn more how to do these, I'm not a professional, but I'm about to be. Just keep watching.